Hi, everybody. I have come to you all once again to talk about this refinement. Hopefully for the last time, or second to last time, because hopefully they'll fix this. But hopefully this is the last time I talk about it in the sense that there is something wrong with it, and that there is a bug with it. So, for context, if you haven't been following along or haven't seen the other videos about this going on, I reported that there was a bug with the Veiled Thorn plus the refinement of if damage through a card was not dealt to an enemy for one turn, at the start of the next turn, increase damage amount by 50% for one turn. And how having those both on the same equipment was acting sus. It was giving Amir a permanent 50% damage bonus every turn. So, I just wanted to get... So that's the baseline of what's going on here. And now I've spent the past week just farming this. I haven't built any decks for a Great Rift, so I really need to catch up on that. But I've really been, putting my foot down, and I've been grinding Chaos to try and get this sorted out, so that I could give you guys the correct information of what's going on, and then I could make a accurate bug report to the devs about what's happening. Because there were some people in the comments that were saying, my equipment isn't doing that, so it might be a mirror that's bugged. Which I did go and check. So, first thing I did was I built a new Amir with the exact same weapon refinement combo on the weapon, but I made sure to have multiple Full Metal Hurricanes, multiple attack cards, basically, in her deck to test this out. And what I was finding out is the Full Metal Hurricanes, when I was using them, I was spamming them, it was still acting the same. But then something peculiar was happening. I would use one of her single target attacks, so basically not Full Metal Hurricane, and then it would turn off the effect, for both of them, the Veiled Thorn and the Refinement. So I was thinking, okay, that's a bit weird. So I was thinking, is it just single target attacks? So keep that in mind. Because before I even got to that, the first thing I was testing is this just an Amir thing, or is this a defense-based combatant thing? Is this, what's going on here exactly? So as you can see on here, I have a Calipe that had the Refinement and the Veiled Thorn. And then I went in with Vulture Ejections to test this out. And the Vulture Ejections do not turn off when I would just use only the Vulture Ejections. So this is where I started to see something going on here. And I was wondering, so what exactly is happening here? Is this a defense-based thing? Then I also noticed with the hammers, even with Aquila, that wouldn't turn it off. But with the hammer here, it would turn it off. So this is really the first time that I noticed, is this perhaps a single target versus AoE damage situation? Then I went and I think that's when I went and I built an Amir with single target. I don't actually remember all the order of the stuff that I did it in. It's all jumbled in my head because like I said, I spent a whole week just grinding Chaos, trying to rush to arena to make sure I get the refinement and then get the equipment. At first I had to make sure I got both so that I could keep the things legitimate in the testing. With the second Amir, or the third Amir that I did end up building, I put the refinement on the armor piece instead of on the weapon itself, so I could test, is it a combination of having Veiled Thorn with the refinement on it that was bugging it out? And that was not the case. And you'll see I also built a Haru, and made sure to build Haru with her AoE attack, and I tried to duplicate it as well, so that I could actually make sure that this wasn't just a defense-based combatant versus DPS, normal DPS, attack-based combatant and stuff like that. And what I was finding out, basically, just to kind of speed this along, because this is a lot of testing going on in the background, you'll see. This is basically just full raw footage sped up. And essentially, it also worked on Haru. So this isn't a defense based versus attack based or anything like that. This is just simply the refinement of if damage through a card was not dealt to an enemy, only checking for single target attacks. You can spam AoE attacks. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 10, whatever amount of AoE attacks you want, and it will never turn off the refinement. But as soon as you do a single target attack, it completely turns off. It has nothing to do with Veiled Thorn either, because I tested getting only the refinement on a character and then not getting the Veiled Thorn, having it on an armor, having the refinement on an armor piece. It doesn't matter where you put it. If you use an AoE, it doesn't turn off. It is fundamentally just the refinement. That was the issue the whole time. So I apologize if I confused a lot of people. I was confused, honestly, when I was doing this, and I was wondering, why the hell is my Amir just having a permanent damage? I thought this was just a bug with the combination, which is why I originally reported it as such 3 weeks ago, before the Great Rift came out, like a week or something before Great Rift came out, because I was afraid that this might be an issue if there was a permanent 50% damage boost that was just available in-game. And it turns out that that's actually not entirely what's going on. What's going on is that either this thing is completely bugged, and AoE damage it's not checking for AoE damage as an attack card or damage through a card that is being dealt, which is already a weird wording, because there are certain things, like Barrel's extra attack upgrade and things like that don't turn this off, even though that is like a buff that you get through a card. There's like a whole bunch of stuff, but basically, yeah, it has to be like an attack card, which I feel like they should have maybe clarified that a bit more, because I know there are people that are confused about that, because Veiled Thorn specifically states attack card, if I recall correctly. But the refinement does not specifically say attack card, it just says damage through a card, which, like, technically, yeah, you can do damage through non-attack cards, so I guess that's fine. But it's weird that it should specify, if this is not a bug, and AoEs are not supposed to turn it off, then they should change it to if single target damage through a card was not dealt to an enemy. Because the way that it's worded now implies that any damage through a card should turn it off, and it currently doesn't. That's why I think this is a bug. I feel like if you have a permanent damage up and you're spamming AoEs, like, I think the reason why this didn't really come up is either people just didn't really notice it too much, or because of the way that the Great Rift boss is functioning, you're not really spamming like Massacre, like Hugh Massacre. As far as I know, I don't have a 9, but as far as I know, people are still using Hugh Extreme, and they aren't really using a lot of AoEs. From my knowledge, I could be completely wrong. I haven't been checking rankings. I'm not trying to do leaderboards or anything. I haven't even gotten 500k because I've been so busy just doing this. I literally don't have a team for this. That's what I'm going to be doing this week now. So I have no idea if people have actually noticed this or reported this or what, but I haven't seen any reports about this. I haven't seen anyone talk about this. So as far as I know, not many people, at least, consciously know that the AoEs, like, as long as you're only doing AoEs, you are permanently getting this damage. And yeah, I did test it with Typhera as well, as you can see here. But yeah, I just wanted to, I know it's a bit dragging on, but basically, let me try and do a bit of a TLDR here for people that don't really care about the process that I went through painstakingly, which is totally fine. I know you're just here for the information. So basically, what's going on is, if damage through a card was not dealt to an enemy for 1 turn, at the start of the next turn, increase damage amount by 50% for 1 turn is either bugged, and it should be applying on AoEs, and currently does not apply on AoEs. Meaning, if you use only AoEs on your character, you'll always get 50% damage up every turn. Or, it isn't fully descriptive, because I did check with the Korean and the Japanese. I did use, ChatGPT to translate, because I can't read Korean at all. So if there's actually anyone that can read Korean that could confirm or deny that it is the same description, as far as I could tell from using online, they are the same. as the English translation, so they all say basically the same thing as what we're getting. So none of them state that it has to be a single target attack. So either it needs to be changed to specify single target attacks, turn it off, like, or if damage through a single target, damage, whatever. I'm butchering my words. My brain's going like 100 miles an hour. So yeah, either it's bugged, AoEs don't turn it off, or the description needs to be changed to specify that it is single target damage. That's what I wanted to say. It has nothing to do with Veiled Thorn. Veiled Thorn is still fine. Veiled Thorn still kind of sucks. In my opinion, I think it sucks. I think the Refinement is way better. And if this is working as intended, then the Refinement is just like infinitely better for AoE characters. Like, why would you ever take Veiled Thorn? Veiled Thorn, you would need to not do damage for an entire turn, like your whole team. But with this, only the character just doesn't have to do damage. At least it doesn't have to do single target damage. Let's just clarify that. So yeah, that is all I wanted to say. I just wanted to put this out there. This is probably not going to be edited that heavily because I'm tired. I've been working on this so much. I've got so much stuff to do as well. I've got a ton of videos that I'm like working on the side, and I need to start farming for Great Rift. I got like what, 8-9 days left or something like that. I gotta start farming. So I am very late to this party, but I hope this information was useful to you if you are going to farm for this, and hopefully if this is a bug, it gets fixed soon before the next Great Rift, the next character comes out, because who knows what Reed is going to be at this point. Is she going to be AoE? Is she going to be single target? Who knows? But anyways, that's all for now. Thank you guys for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed this informative video, and I'll see you all when I see you next time. Bye-bye!